So,
And by the way, I do have to leave at 11:30, so I'll hand over to you, Tom.
Okay.
And sorry, guys.
You missed the conversation, Brandon, about, I was asking Dave about, how much of a pain, right, that the lack of predictability is. And sounds like it's becoming a bigger and bigger pain in the company every day. Don't want to put words in your mouth, Dave, but that's what I heard in so many words.
With me, at least.
Yeah.
They've got a salary invested in me, and I believe they're in it. I was told from the beginning, I've got a year to prove myself.
Yeah. But they're not doing anything else to help you, right? They're just like saying, go get them.
Yes, pretty much. I mean, the only other thing that's been done, they exhibited at a convention recently, and I got one lead from that. So
Was it
pretty
a
much
good lead?
I don't know. I haven't been able to get hold of them. I'm doing my thing with LinkedIn. I did the gentleman that I think it is a good lead. I just haven't been able to make contact yet. But to answer your question, frankly, no. It's pretty much go get them.
Yeah.
So, and maybe this, what I'm going to show you today is going to put a little bit of structure into some things, and that we can work on this, and then you can maybe show this to Jeff is his name, your boss, say, okay, here's how I'm going about this, so that we can start to have a framework for some predictability. So I know last time, right, we talked about the revenue zone being the place where they're seriously considering doing business with you. And the yellow brick road is, how do we get somebody from somewhere in here, maybe a little more on the right, but somewhere from here into that revenue zone in a consistent and predictable manner. So there's kind of two main steps. I'm going to do this really quick, and then give you a worksheet that we can start working on. But the first thing that we want to do is, as it relates to the revenue zone, we want to know, and maybe you should, and I'll give you the worksheet. I'll show you in a minute where you can just start putting these things down. But what are the three things? Well, first of all, is there a way to categorize what you are selling into a single category or a single? Because I know there's different offer, right? The different signage and everything is different on a customer by customer basis. At the end of the day, right, it's signage. There's some product or there's something that you're at a category level that you're providing.
The terminology would be store decor.
Store decor. Okay.
That pretty much, that encompasses the fixtures 8 feet and above, the point of purchase, point of sale displays, pretty much everything.
Right. So you're trying to get a company to purchase store decor from you versus a competitor or somebody else.
Correct.
So what are the three things that a prospect would need to understand about you or what your store decor offering, that would cause them to be at a place where, hey, I'm seriously considering doing business with your company? And then what are the three beliefs that they would also want to have to be, you would ideally want, and again, this is what you want them to have, right, to be at a place where they say, okay, I believe that you're better to work with and you have our best interests in mind, or whatever the case may be, right? So you have to take somebody who has no understandings and no beliefs down here and gets them to the point where, if they had those three understandings and those three beliefs, they would be solidly in the revenue zone and seriously considering doing business with your company. So, and a lot of people say, well, there's 10 of these. It's like, what we say is just come up with three. Just come up with three. What are three things you would love your prospect to understand? And what would be three things you would love your prospect to believe? If you could have all of your prospects all lined up going, they understand these three things and they believe these three things, you would have a very happy forecast. Let's put it that way.
That's powerful.
Okay. Because most people honestly can't answer these questions, we have found. And it's like, okay, well, if you can't answer these questions, how do you know then when you really have a qualified prospect who's seriously considering doing business with you, other than, well, it's a gut instinct or something like that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to drop this. I just put a link in the thing. Let me know if you can open that
In
chat.
the chat.
in the chat.
Let me find the chat. Where's the chat at? Chat.
In fact, I may have you share your screen when you get it up and running.
Okay, here we go. Yes, I was able to open that up.
Okay, so go ahead and share your screen real quick and I'll kind of walk you through.
Okay, 1 second here. Because I got, let's see. Bear with me.
And honestly, like the stuff that we're doing with these videos and the stuff Brandon's sharing with you, we're trying to sort out our three understandings, three beliefs, right? It's like,
Yeah,
it's not, you know, you want to learn from the customers and the prospects, and it's because they have to be their understandings and their beliefs, not what you believe and understand.
exactly. Where's the share my screen at?
It's a
Oh,
little
there
green
it is. There it is. There it is. Okay, now I gotta find it because it's let's see, right here. Okay. And share. Okay, there is. Do you see it?
No, we're only seeing I'm only seeing the top line.
Uh,
Now I am. Now it's
There
there.
it is.
okay. Mhm.
All right. So first of all, go up to the file where it says file there.
Make a copy.
Yeah, make a copy.
Whoop, it's grayed out.
I think you have to be signed in.
Oh,
Or do you have a
Sign-
Google account?
I do.
Okay, great. Now go ahead and rename that, you know, rename the file to whatever you want to call it for. Oh, you didn't make a copy. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's leave it there for right now.
It's so you up there in the name, you can, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll change it.
Okay. All right. So this should give you the ability to make updates. So this is
Mhm.
your version. The one I sent you before was the master. So
Mhm.
like under product or service there, you could just put, you know, store decor.
Yep.
So if you click over to the tab where it says my revenue zone, it's about 4 over there. Yeah. So this is where you would enter in your three beliefs and your three understandings. And that will actually carry over into something I'll show you here in a minute, but this would be where you would enter in those three things related to whatever they would be. Okay. Make sense?
I'm with you. Yep.
Okay, so now I'm going to go back to sharing my screen.
You want me to stop sharing?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I think I looked at this from your things in the community, Tom.
Yeah, it's all in there. Yeah.
Mhm.
So then once you have these nailed down, right, then the question is okay, well, how do I get from here to there? And in your case, so there's kind of two scenarios where this can occur. I'm going to give you the easy, we're going to do the light version of this, because if you were a marketing department and all of that stuff, we would take you through a more intense sort of thing. But I don't think for where you're at, that as an individual salesperson, that makes sense. So what we want to identify then is 5 milestones along the way to get to the point of the three understandings and the three beliefs, right? Because they're not just going to jump from knowing nothing to knowing all three of those understanding, three of those beliefs. So if you were to go through and say, well, you know, what is the again, my example here was accounting software, right? So
Mhm.
software benefits their business, it's affordable. The company will help them. So they understand that the software is going to benefit them, it's affordable, and they understand how the company is going to help them get it to use. They
Mhm.
also believe the accounting software is a better choice. The company is going to be great to work with, and they need to take action now, right? So that they
Mhm.
don't. Well, that's great. That's where they need to get, but that's not going to just happen all in one big drink.
Correct.
The milestones might be, hey, first milestone is we just want to make sure that the prospect understands the features and benefits of what we do. Good
Mhm.
start. Then milestone 2, believe, now this is a believe, right? The prospect believes that these features will address their specific needs and requirements. So
Mhm.
first one is more of a logical, I understand it. Now there's an emotional, I believe that this could be a good fit for me. Then they understand more about how the software will be implemented. And then they believe that the company is the best choice. And then that takes them to the revenue zone, right? So there's basically 4 intermediate milestones before you get to the goal line. So think of these each as like your 20-yard line, moving the ball down the field. When you get to the revenue zone, right, that's the end zone, but you've moved people through the process that are here.
Mhm.
So what you would want to then think about is once you have those 3 understandings and 3 beliefs, what is the milestones that we would like to move the prospect through in a certain sequence,
Mhm.
right? Because maybe it wouldn't make sense, right? If the first thing to say, well, I want the prospect to believe my software is the best choice compared to other options on the market, if they have no understanding of what it is what our software even does. But people do this all the time. They start sending content out or providing information that is in the wrong sequence based on where the buyer is in their journey.
All they do here is send decks.
Syndex or you'll see it a lot. The people send testimonials
Yeah.
to somebody, but they don't even know what they're listening to the testimonial about.
They send decks of pictures and information.
Yep. So yeah, it's all sort of one big blob, right?
Mhm.
And again, going back to what you just told Jeff earlier, is the buyer is in control of their own journey. So I can't control the journey, but I can influence and facilitate the journey
Mhm.
by being intelligent and knowing how to take them through their journey,
Mhm.
right? Rather than shotgunning and just hoping that maybe I hit the right path that they're going down. Now, what's interesting about this, remember last time we talked about from a forecasting perspective, we want to be able to identify that once somebody's in the revenue zone, the probability of a close within a certain time frame. So we know that 30% of everybody who ends up in the revenue zone will close within 45 days or whatever.
Mhm.
Well, we can also start to forecast based on milestones. Now, this is very different than traditional forecasting, which is if you have like a stage where you'd have like, well, demo or presentation or all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Now think about that. That old school way is seller centric. You're saying, as the seller, this is what I'm doing to take my buyer down. And then I try and forecast based around the seller centric model.
Mhm.
Guess what? It doesn't work because the buyer could care less about your seller centric model. Right.
Mhm.
So what the buyer cares about is, am I progressing in my understanding and beliefs as it relates to your company? So forecasting now becomes a buyer-centric forecast versus a seller-centric forecast. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I would think it would be more accurate.
It's very different, right? Like you said, you're
Very.
using HubSpot. I don't know if you're using opportunities or deals or anything like that in HubSpot, but most companies with a CRM, they have like an opportunity and they say, okay, what are the stages of the opportunity? And it'd be like contact and presentation and contract and all of those things. And then they forecast based around the stages that are in the opportunity. But those are your stages, they're not the buyer stages.
Correct. I've
Now,
seen those in HubSpot. Yeah.
So what we want to do is we want to forecast, we want to bring people into our process here, and then think about those milestones as being the milestones along the way from here to there. And as they progress through the milestones, now we can start to over time go, hey, I know that if somebody gets to milestone 3, first of all, what is the probability of them reaching the revenue zone? And if I know the probability of them reaching the revenue zone, and I know the benchmark associated with revenue zone to customer, I can now start to accurately forecast predictably. Because now my goal is to simply get people moving through the yellow brick road. If I have people moving through the yellow brick road, I can forecast that, and now I can have predictable results. But if I don't know where they are on their yellow brick road, like the guy you met at the show, you don't know what that guy's done or that they gave you the lead on. You have no idea what he's done.
They didn't even make any notes. I don't know if we even talked to the guy. Was it just a badge scan or whatever? I know nothing.
Right. Right. And he, meanwhile, could be doing his own research. We don't know. You don't know what's happening with that. And that's okay. But if you were to then, again, most people want to kind of jump out and have a phone call because we want to bring them right to the revenue zone on that phone call.
That's what they want.
We want to, again, put him on the journey, right? And Carson talks about this all the time, and he's even changed it in his sales meetings, is he's now basically talking to a sales team is, okay, first of all, how many of these people do we have now in the matrix? And then where are they progressing on their journey? That's the sales meeting. How many people are going in here and where are they progressing on their journey? Then if you get enough of these over time, you can now prove your benchmarks because again, you have this many people that you're facilitating their journey. Very different. 180 degree. I don't know, Brandon, if you want to add anything. I know
Radically different.
Radically different.
No, I don't have anything to add.
But it's the old way, right? As we find, is not working because you are out of sync with the buyer. Here you are in sync, or you're working to be in sync with the buyer versus it's like we're as a salesperson, in Brandon's circle of trust, right? We're sitting here over on the outside looking in as salespeople if we're not facilitating the buyer journey. So I think the next step that would make sense for you, and we can work on this, if you want to take a cut at it, we can work more on it Thursday, is what are your understandings and beliefs for store decor? What are the milestones that you would like to see that prospect go down? And then what you can do, so I'm going to let you share one more time. So go ahead and.
Okay.
So just go ahead and type something in the 3 understandings, just put something in there, it doesn't matter. Just some letters or whatever.
Oh, just
type something in there, it doesn't matter what.
service.
That's fine for now.
Okay.
Now click ahead to the 5 milestone tab there, that's right to the right. So this is where you would enter in your 5 milestones. Now, so just go ahead and put something in there. Just put like milestone 1, milestone 2, milestone 3, something like that in the.
Trying to drag it down. Maybe it won't there it goes. My mouse. There it goes.
Okay, great. Now go scroll to the right a little bit more on the bottom on the tabs. And go to YBR Journey 2. Okay, so you see that now those are starting to automatically fill in the things that are there. So once we have those milestones really nailed down, where it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and all that, that's where we start to define what content do we want to utilize in order to get them to those milestones. How do we want to help facilitate that journey with content, and what do I need to actually get them to that point that's there? But we can't figure out our content until we know our milestones that we're trying to do. So that what ends up happening is we end up building our yellow brick road here.
I see
If
that.
you already had a ton of content and you were a marketing team and all that stuff, I would take you through how to use all of your existing content, but I don't think that makes sense for what you're doing. I think we should just figure out what you need and go do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, the homework would be to get your 3 understandings down under my revenue zone and your 5 milestones.
Yeah.
defined, and then we can start working on what goes into the content of it.
Makes sense to me.
And then when you show this to Jeff, he'll probably go, "What in the hell are you doing?"
Hey
Yep.
guys, Tom, I'm gonna assign the Zoom to
Okay.
you, and I
Okay.
got to take off to go
Okay.
meet this guy.
Thank you,
Okay.
Brandon.
You got it. Thanks, guys. I'll
a
talk to you
good day.
later, Tom.
Bye.
Right.
Yeah. So the thing is, and what this goes to as well, I mean, I'm, big picture thinking, if I'm a sales leader, it's pretty apparent here that there's not a real duplicatable model of bringing salespeople on and give them what they need to become successful.
Mhm.
I.e., you asked me and I told the truth. I'm experienced, so and I kind of expected it when I came in, but I'm pretty much just on my own here.
Yeah,
This is
so they're not giving you a yellow brick road to follow,
nothing.
any of that kind of stuff. It's like, go for it, Dave.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Identify some companies and go for it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But this actually, if you understood these things and they worked them out, then you could hire more Daves and take people through, here's how you take your prospects down the yellow brick road, right? It becomes a repeatable framework that can be done.
Yep, this is really big picture, high level stuff, because I build a sales team from nothing, and I developed my own processes and stuff as I went, and it was very duplicatable, and the proof's in the pudding. I built a sales team, went from 700,000 in business to 16 million,
Okay.
and they all stayed. All this creates is lack of good sales training creates an in and out turnover program.
Yeah, it creates frustration, right? Because the salesperson's like, I don't like that. I'm not being successful. I'm not getting support. I'm going to go somewhere where I am.
You're talking to the right guy.
Yeah. So
yeah.
no, totally get it. But again, this is, if you can, and people invest a lot of money in content. So it's great. Let's get the content, but let's figure out how we use that content to actually drive the people down the yellow brick road rather than just spray and pray.
Yeah. Yeah. And may I ask, I mean, you have a couple, you're an entrepreneur, you have more than one business going on, and you follow this process and get results.
To the letter. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll admit it, and I'll tell people this. It's like, I'll find, Brandon and I laugh about it. We'll find ourselves strained sometimes. You want to go back to the old way.
Sure.
And then it's like, whoa, what are you doing? It's like, it's just like bad habits, right? It's like, I know I'm not supposed to go eat a bag of Doritos, but God, I went and ate a bag of Doritos. I think it's a bad habit.
Go ahead.
But yes, what we find is that this is successful and it's forecastable and you can track. And like I said, Carson's using this framework to run his entire sales organization.
You've been prospecting. You've been using this business model for yourself for roughly how long?
For a year or so. The book came out about a year ago.
Yeah.
So And if you read the book, you'll see the reason the book came out is because I got caught in a board meeting where I didn't feel like I could answer the question very well of
Mm-hmm.
what does our forecast look like? So,
Mm-hmm. I'm in the process of reading it. Yeah.
yeah.
I
So,
appreciate you guys so much. You have no idea.
oh, thank you. It's good
I
to hear.
feel like I'm on an island here, but that
Well-
it helps having you guys. So,
Well, and it helps having you that are, willing to try this stuff out and look at it because look, hey, if I thought there was a better way,
mm-hmm.
I'm not stuck on this.
Yeah.
I just know that the old way is not working.
Yeah.
And I keep hearing day in and day out, and even listening to Mark Clausen. I mean, arguably, IBM is the best sales company in the world, if not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they do training, they
Mm-hmm.
hire top quality people, and they're
Mhm.
struggling. They're struggling.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
And
Wow.
one of the things they're struggling with, IBM doesn't have so much hard time getting prospects.
Right.
They're struggling with what Mark is calling with sluggish pipeline. Well, what does that
Mhm.
mean? It means people aren't moving to the revenue zone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mhm.
because the way that they're trying to go about getting people to move to the revenue zone isn't working,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're not facilitating the buyer journey. They're trying to pull the buyer
Mm-hmm.
into the revenue zone using whatever sales techniques that they're trying to use. And it's not working.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, and the other challenge I see is you guys talk about the mindset, and I agree with you. You and I are in agreement that spraying mud on the wall is not working, but that's by our definition of working.
right.
And the oldest sales thing in the book. I mean, if you want to get someone to make a different decision, you got to give them information to make that decision.
Yes.
And they have to feel some kind of external pain to
Yes.
do that.
Yes.
So the good thing about what I'm learning here with, I feel like we're going to have a long-term relationship, is that this is a model that goes anywhere with me.
It doesn't matter where you are, you just have a different yellow brick road, a different
Yeah.
revenue zone,
Yeah.
and it's the same
Yeah.
same thing. Right.
Yeah.
And ultimately our goal here is to get enough material supporting systems together so that we could, take it like almost franchise it and have people like you go out and be able to help others do it, coach and but we still are, we're not quite there in having the system.
Sure, I understand that.
But
that's the dream. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because this is the future in our opinion.
And boy, what a big, exciting, couldn't be frustrating vision though, to try to give people information to change their whole paradigm, basically.
Yeah.
But that's to me, that's exciting. I have passion for that. I would like to get in the brain of Harry Straub, the sales enablement guy here. Because he retired from 3M, and I don't know what his thought processes are in terms of modern selling or not. Be interesting, because I think he's kind of the lead of that here in this company. Interesting.
Well, and if you fill out your worksheet, you can go sit down with somebody and go, here's what I'm doing, right? And have them either go, you're crazy, and find out what that'll help them kind of bring that mindset to the front, or they might be intrigued and go, whoa, what's this all about?
Exactly. Yeah.
Very interested to see what that response is.
Me too. Yeah.
But we're getting fewer and fewer people saying that it's crazy, because the older ways they can't back it up that their old way is working or their current way is working. So
yeah, well, I mentioned to Jeff last week in our one-on-one, I said, he's familiar with Fist Bump. He's seen it on the big screen in the conference room here. And I told Jeff, I said, I'm doing this because I said, I've gone outside the company, Jeff, and that's not anything in disrespect to the company, but I've had to, go outside of the company to get what I need to be able to get going here.
Right.
And I'm not looking for no, applause for that or anything, but I was just letting him, be aware that not everybody, not because I'm a great guy, but I'm doing it because I'm just charged by doing it, and I have no other choice.
Mhm.
I can't pick up the phone and start calling these people and
Right.
emailing them and all that crap. It's just a waste of time.
Yeah. And if anything, you're going to piss them off, and you're going to create a bigger barrier between you and them. So,
Well, and there's not going to be, and of course, you know how it is in corporate. They're got me a salary of 80,000 and act like it's $1 million. That's so yeah, I'll keep plugging until they tell me not to, then I'll go do it somewhere
well,
else.
do your revenue zone, do your milestones, and who knows, it might be
Yeah.
eye-opening for them, or it'll either
Yeah.
be they don't get it, and then it's probably
Yeah.
maybe time to go look for someone who does get it.
Yeah, exactly. Alignment is an important thing.
Yes,
So,
it is. So,
I thank
all
you.
right, you got your homework, and then we'll see
Yep.
where we're at on Thursday.
Yep. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks, Dave.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.